are. Welcome. It's May 21st. Welcome back to Digital PNA. I'm Marcel Allen, your host for the day, your president. We've been doing Digital PNA for about 3 years now, and Digital PNA's the theme of the year is wouldn't it be cool if? Wouldn't it be cool if you walked away with 2 new resources today, or you got 3 referrals, or you closed some business? Wouldn't it be cool if you figured out the camera features and all the things that make you more comfortable with podcasting and video? So this is our current lineup of members of Digital PNA. We're missing Mike and Heath today and Mara. Brian will be with us a little bit late. And we've got 2 guests on the line. So welcome, Catherine and Aaron. We're so happy you guys are here. We'll do commercials and sharing here in a minute so you guys get a chance. So Digital PNA is a little bit different in the sense that we have a goal of getting people to talk about the event, the experiences, the people. And so does anybody want to volunteer to be a photographer today? Maybe take a selfie of you on the screen, or maybe you take a screenshot of something you find interesting, something that, I don't know, might get on Facebook or Instagram.
I'll take pictures.
Okay, Brian, BV, you're up. You're going to take a couple photos. Anybody can take photos. I encourage sharing. I always say that if there's nothing good from a meeting, why are we meeting? Right? The whole goal is like, let's make something great happen, or let's introduce people to great resources. So how about a tracker or a meme maker? So listen for quotables. Rosie's going to be presenting, but who knows? Somebody else might say something wonderful. So does anybody want to listen specifically for quotables or closed business or anything that is just kind of unique and special? Emma, you did so good last time. You want to do it again? Yes, girl. Thank you. And then update your story. So I encourage you at any time, if you want to upload your Instagram or your Facebook and do a tag saying, hey, great job, Rosie of @Top Services. You know, we're encouraging this digital sharing and cross promotion because there's something powerful and wonderful that says, or when someone else says that we're amazing. Because if we're out there saying, hey, I'm amazing, you guys are going to unfollow me real fast, let's be honest. But if BV is saying, hey, Catherine's amazing, and Karen is saying Marcel's amazing, and Rosie's saying Aaron's amazing, no, you get the idea. It just helps from the social media side of things. So know that you can update your story and tag PNA NW also. Oh, and I'm going to back up real quick. So these at the top of their heads, you can see, you guys might want to take a photo just to have it on your camera because the slide will go away in a minute. But this is everybody's Instagram handle that's currently a member of Digital PNA. So if they just have a first name, that's not their handle. But if they have the @ sign in front of it, that is their Instagram handle. So know that you can tag the speaker for today @Rosie Stritzel if you want to, or anybody from the Zoom. So, okay, let's dive in. We're going to do 60-second commercials. This is a great chance for you to talk about a recent win with a client. Maybe you were on a podcast last week, or you've got a really cool video that you want to share around, or you just want to tell people who your ideal client is. So I'm going to hit the stop share button here, and then we'll go around the room, and then I'll do the curveball question afterwards, okay? Let's see. Let me turn this guy off. Maybe. This is still a new thing. Okay, so let's make it like this. We'll see all of you. Hey, everybody, I see you. Rosie, do you want to start us off? And then I'll put in the chat the order after Rosie, okay?
Okay, yeah, sure. I am presenting today, so I'll keep mine short and sweet. Rosie with Top Services. So I'd like to share something that a new client of mine that I just started working on a few weeks ago. And she told me yesterday that she appreciated how hard I've been working and how communicative I've been. And she feels like she's actually being taken care of now versus other people that she's had either got behind or just didn't communicate, wasn't sure where things were at. So you'll see as I present today, it's going to be a little different. It's not about bean counting today. It's going to be about showing you how to be my sales team. So, Rosie with Top Services.
Awesome. Thank you. BV.
All right. Well, my primary business is helping people with wealth creation using life insurance strategies, something that rich people do, but I know how to scale for people who are not rich yet. So we're going to get there. But at an even more basic level is helping people get life insurance with living benefits, the kind of life insurance you don't have to die, but what if something happens? And something that's very I'm passionate about because I didn't have my living benefits policy in place when 3 years ago I got a cancer diagnosis. I swatted away cancer. I'm still back to being suspiciously fit, but I didn't have that in place and it cost me. So, and I had, I guess, a good story is that this week, Monday, after quite a bit of work, someone who had a lot of issues, we had a company that I recently found that I could work with. We got them underwritten, and she is just gets some relief that she knows she's going to be okay, even if some health event becomes disruptive. And so, again, we still help with wealth creation and retirement planning and stuff. But the counterintuitive part is, wait, what? You can do things like that with life insurance? And yep, you can. It's not just for rich people. So I'm going to get back the rest of my 60 seconds to the crew.
Awesome. Thanks, BV. Karen.
Hi there, I'm Karen Koenig with KK Financial Solutions, and I am a wealth manager. And what does that mean? I do several things. I am a financial advisor, so I do assets under management, but I also do money coaching. I do, like Emma and other people on here, I do sell life insurance, long-term care, and annuities to kind of do a holistic approach, but I also do business valuations and I do estate planning. But what I do like to do mostly is I like to solve problems for my clients. And I recently had a client who you wouldn't think it would take this long, but they had assets under management, but those assets were actually in silver bullion. And you wouldn't think that it would be hard to change that into cash, but it took 2 months to actually do that. But I kept working at it for the client, and we got what's called a spot price for her bullion. And what took so long is in the background, she got what that means is they had to turn the bullion into cash. She got a good price for the cash, but the company that gave her the cash didn't actually put the cash back into the account, and it sat out there, and she finally got the cash into her account, so then we could transfer it over into her Charles Schwab account. So it was a little frustrating for her, the client, but I just kept pushing at it. So I like to help solve issues for my clients. So that's one of the things that I can do for people is if they have complex issues with assets under management, I can help them with that. So anyway, that's Karen with KK Financial Solutions.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. And Aaron, welcome.
Hello. So I'm Aaron the locksmith, so all the people here in the general Seattle area, if they need my help, I'll be certainly happy to come out and help with your locksmith needs. Unlike the people here left and right of me that can help all the people throughout the nation. If you ever have just general questions about locksmithing or your security and want to talk to someone that's one, a real person, and two, just maybe outside your circle so you know I'm safe for you, just feel free to reach out to me. So I'm just Aaron the locksmith checking out the digital world. So we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. Catherine, welcome.
Hi, Catherine White with Accelerated Results 365. I'm a business management consultant, and I help business owners to create efficiencies in their company so that they can scale more profitably. And some things that clients say about me are, one client had said that because we get things done, just like the name Accelerated Results 365, we get things done. And he said, Catherine, in the last year, we got about 50 things done. If I had done that myself, we'd only gotten about 5 things done. Other clients say she's well worth the investment. She's transformed my business. She's helped me grow it and so forth. So if you know somebody who is looking to improve their business and grow and be profitable, I'm the person to talk to. Catherine White with Accelerated Results 365.
Awesome. Thanks, Catherine. And Emma, my super rock star this week.
Yes, I'm Emma with Country Financial here at Courtney Hamilton's agency. And one thing we like to ask our clients when we start out is what's most important when it comes to insurance, saving money, getting the best coverage, working with someone you trust, or making sure you're protected no matter what. I can assure you most say saving money as their first gut instinct, but the reality is those last three are really what matter most. And with our agency, that is what we take pride in, making sure you do have the best coverage and working with someone you trust, as well as making sure you're protected no matter what. Again, that's Country Financial, Courtney Hamilton Agency.
Awesome. Thank you. And that brings me up. My name is Marcel. I run Dreamosity, which is a social media management and training company. So if you are so annoyed with Instagram or Facebook, or maybe you don't have enough leads, or you're not quite sure how to do video and how do you go get on those podcasts? Wouldn't it be cool if you get on more podcasts? I help my clients navigate the internet to win. I'm the author of a book called Financial Joy, Know the Data Behind Your Dreams, because I want us looking at that net profit that somebody like Rosie would give you every month, so we know if it worked. Because the reality is sometimes it doesn't always work perfectly the first time. So as we get better and as we improve and as we get people more comfortable with their sales territory, their sales plan, their sales team, aka everybody here on this call for a lot of us, the results can change and improve over time. So if you are not sure how to pay a mortgage next month, or you want to hire a team member, but you don't have the budget just yet, if you want to talk about money in a way you can make more of it, I love to help people learn about sales, marketing, SEO, Facebook advertising, anything that helps more people know how awesome and amazing you are. And with that, thanks for being us here live today. We are live on YouTube, and that's kind of a cool thing because that's new for me. And so as this community evolves, these presentations are getting more dynamic and more interesting. So thanks for being here. And I'm going to kick it back over, let's see, to my slideshow, hopefully, if I can make this work. You're going to see my background here for a second because it reset on me and I don't know why it does that. So quick recap. We're going to just jet right past all that stuff. I have a fun curveball question today for you. Where did it go? Come back. If you could interview anybody who's really good with money, who would it be? And I'm gonna tee this up. It doesn't have to be somebody here. They don't have to be, well, they kind of do need to be alive because that's important. It does not need to be a public interview. It could be like over coffee, but maybe there's some super famous, I don't know, for me, a budgeter. Maybe it's your parents. Maybe it's your nephew that you want to see where they're at. It could be any angle. So feel free. We'll go in the same order. And Rosie, who would you want to interview?
When I think about it, the first name that actually comes up to mind, because I've listened to a few of his podcasts and books, is Dave Ramsey, because he really hones down on helping people manage their money and get out of debt, and that's one of the things that my husband and I followed for the longest time. So to help basically have the right mindset of taking care of your life and your budget and all that stuff. So
awesome. Go ahead and take it away, BV.
I'm going to twist the response a little bit. I'm going to try to make this a short story, and it's really hard for me to do. But
we'll see.
This is going back a ways. Some of you may have known who Ray Kroc was, the McDonald's guy, right? And there's a story there. Well, I was in Arizona at I forget what that club's called, Karen. Maybe you know the philanthropic club, the kind of prominent thing. And having gotten an MBA at Arizona State, I got to go there for a while. And I want you to picture this. You know, you've seen those commercials where somebody's like kind of in a fog and they're walking, and everybody else seems to be a blur. It was that kind of a room. People are just blurring around, and I see this one person moving really slow. I mean, he's like, he's just really he's moving, and he's very well dressed. Looks like a little short version of Tony Bennett. White hair, some old guy, and everybody's talking to the people they know. And I said, "You guys later. I'm going to go talk to that person over there." This guy ended up becoming a friend. His name is Gus. He was one of the first 7 franchisers of McDonald's after Ray Kroc, and he had a very nice suit that was probably 40 years old, but he had what looked like a Super Bowl ring on one finger, and it had golden arches. Man, did this dude have a story. And you know how old people, when they talk, they got to hold onto your arm to make sure you're listening? I was captivated. And we ended up having coffee and lunch several times. So this guy obviously made a bunch of people, well, several people rich in the process of just franchising. But here's somebody who did well with money and that kind of, I don't, how often do we have those kind of opportunities? But to hear somebody tell that story, I was captivated then, and I still, if I had a chance to sit down with Warren Buffett for a minute to hear whatever the Oracle of Omaha had to say, and there are other, Rosie had a good example of an author because David Brooks is an author that I appreciate, and not directly money, but kind of the way you connect with people and help them live their life because their money is done right, which is what I do professionally. Help people, hey, can you live right, live a better life if you're sure that you're going to be okay, if you're sure you can retire. And so that's my long story, but I've already had a tremendous experience with Gus, who has obviously passed because he was a wise old dude back in 2008 when I met him and had several lunch meetings. So I've already had a great, profound financial meeting and a human experience meeting with Gus and the legacy of Ray Kroc.
Wow, it sounds like a great blog post idea, or just even a video summary just to share about that meeting
Yeah.
you've already had. That's great.
Yep.
Okay, Karen, you're up next.
Well, I'm just going to say one thing about Ray Kroc. My dad worked at the third franchise of Ray Kroc and actually went to dinner with him. They went to a steak dinner back in the day. The whole entire crew from that third franchise was taken out to dinner by Ray Kroc. So anyway, that's my story about that. But I would like to go out to dinner with Warren Buffett. He was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, and I was born and raised in Nebraska. So yeah, the Oracle of Omaha. He is somebody that he actually graduated from the University of Nebraska when he was 20. And then he became the chairman and CEO of, obviously, Berkshire Hathaway when he was 40. And now he's 94. So obviously he did something right because he's, I don't know, worth what, $156 billion now. So that's somebody that I would really like to sit down and talk to about money because he's obviously done something right. So anyway, that's my story.
I love it. That would be so cool, Karen and Warren Buffett. Oh my goodness. I would tune in for that. We could reach out to him on Instagram. I mean, someone's managing that account, right? Okay, Aaron, what about you? If you could interview anybody really good with money, who would you interview?
So I would interview my great grandmother and her group of friends. Money always has to do with emotion, and that generation kind of went through a lot of emotion with the Great Depression and all that. So understanding how they were able to manage the money, keep all their families together, keep all the kids fed, and deal with the emotions that go with it, that would be some pretty interesting conversation, I think.
Oh, I love that. Well, if she's still around, maybe we could set that up because
No, not my great grandmother. No.
Darn it. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing. How about you, Catherine? If you could interview anybody really good with money, who would you interview?
Good question. Names that come to mind are Warren Buffett would be really awesome. Tony Robbins, Susie Orman. I love that Susie Orman talks beyond money, and she talks about how other things in your life impact your money decisions and vice versa. The person that really stands out to me is somebody that I know personally and is a friend of mine, and I have had many dinners and conversations, and I would love to. I could never pick his brain enough, but he's very successful. He owns a CPA firm nearby, and he has owned multiple businesses, and he invests in real estate, and he makes a lot of money, and he not only knows how to make money, but he knows how to pay less taxes and generate wealth. So I am very blessed that I do know him personally, and I could spend lots of time sitting down and talking with him and picking his brain.
Excellent. That sounds like that could happen. Okay, Emma, what about you?
Oh, well, that was tough after listening to everyone's opinions there. Obviously, Warren Buffett was first and maybe Elon Musk even. But then I thought after they got to a certain point, I'm thinking somebody else handled their assets. So I'd actually like to speak with that person who's like managing it because they're the ones probably making sure they're doing well now. But if it was not alive, I'd actually want to speak with Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, because I think that is an excellent person to pick their brain.
Oh my goodness, that's excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks for doing the curveball question with me and navigating with me as I do these silly breakout windows. So I'll share, and you guys have heard me rave about this gal before, but there's a gal younger than me who's just brilliant. She bought her first home with cash, which I know is not the best real estate move, but she literally has no mortgage now. She's a young gal, huge on Instagram. She's called the Budget Mom. So if you look her up, and she's the author of a book now. She's got 2 kids. She's crushing it in the social media space. And what I love about her, she's not necessarily about wealth building as much as like getting to know your own priorities and knowing what is important to you. And she visually, from a storytelling perspective, she shows you how to budget. And if your parents were not, on their A game, or you just never learned because, I don't know, that class was boring in school because whoever taught it wasn't dynamic. She's dynamic. She's sincere, and she uses color. She's like an artist meets a accountant, but she's not an accountant. She's actually, I think, from the financial world, financial advising, but she's gone into just pure budgeting. So yeah, the Budget Mom on Instagram. I'm actually kind of hoping and planning my invitation to her so I can feature her for one of my publications. I just haven't had the the focus yet, but she's on my wish list of somebody I would really like to interview because, I mean, she's got it going on. Okay, so enough about all this fun curveball stuff. Thank you. This question changes. I usually try to tee up the presenter so it's kind of a theme. So depending on when you guys present, if you're going to present here, feel free to give me a tip on what question you want to ask. This one was kind of pulled out of my imagination for Rosie. But we do have a great speaker today. So we do 20-minute presentations here at Digital PNA, which is great. And so today, Rosie is our speaker, and she has a great presentation in store. But before I pass it over to you, Rosie, let's do the introduction. So how many years in business has it been?
In business about almost 2 years now.
2 years. And then do you have a seldom known personal fact?
Well, there's a few people on here that's new, so they might not know everything about me. I would say one of the things that I shock people with is I actually have a motorcycle that I ride.
Do you really? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And how about title of your presentation today?
Is gonna be how you can listen and be my sales team.
Okay, well, I love it. I may
So-
have encouraged some of that.
Yes.
And if anybody needs to pop out to ask a question, you're welcome to. I have everybody else off screen for now while she presents. But go ahead and take it away. Rosie, do you want to be on screen or just the slides?
Just the slides would be great.
You got it.
Okay.
Are you able to move the slides here? Let's see. I think I need to keep you live to hear you. There you are. Okay.
Okay.
We
Can
hear
you?
you. I'm going to
Okay,
keep
you
you
can.
on camera because we need to hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's
But
fine. So here's a little picture. My husband and I are a team, and he helps me on the side. And I like to tell people we have 25 years of combined industry experience. So we're responsive. We listen to our clients. We always tailor services to meet their needs. We work well with CPAs, and my enrolled agent's license is on the horizon, meaning I'm studying so that I can help clients better understand their tax financial situation. We both have accounting degrees, so we understand accounting and how it should work. We're very innovative, and we always come up with solutions when clients run into a problem. So next. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to kind of highlight on before I go into how you can be a salesperson for TAP services. So these are some of the success stories from my clients. One client that I had this year, I actually saved her $4,000 in taxes. Like she had to pay $4,000 more last year when she did it on her own. And then when she hired me as a bookkeeper, and then I went ahead and did her Schedule C taxes, she saw that I saved her $4,000 and she was just shocked. So it's a success story I like to share because in the end, that's what makes me happy is when the clients are happy. And for just regular bookkeeping clients, I always advise them ways to make their financial work for their goal. So if they want to save money on taxes, I tell them a lot of times where to put things, if it should be in cost of goods or if it should go somewhere else. I've helped collect money and get my clients paid. So one client that I took on last year didn't realize that some of her tenants didn't pay for some of the monthly rents. And so I was able to collect on that. And number one thing that I hear from clients all the time when they onboard with me is they actually feel like they've been heard. They feel like I'm actually listening to them, listening to their needs. They have a question, I respond. And I hear so many times how bookkeepers they use just aren't responsive. So, it's one of the things that I like to brand my business as. And on top of that, recently I was able to have 8 to 9 of my clients write me a letter of recommendation so that when I get a lead of a bigger business, I have referral, basically recommendations that I can send to them. So that speaks a lot by that itself, that so many clients are happy with me that they were able to write a paragraph to recommend me. So those are some of the success stories. So I want to go into now things to listen for when talking to your clients, or even if you're just out and about, if you're at a restaurant or at a store or anything else. You'd be surprised at what you hear. One of the things that is heard is my current bookkeeper has gone MIA. I can't get a hold of them. I actually got one client recently in the last month from another lady that I knew, and she went ahead and recommended me. And now that client is a happy client because she's one of the ones where she just told me the other day, Rosie, I am so glad that I was given your information because I finally feel heard. And that just makes my heart happy. So, another thing is a lot of clients will say, my CPA said I need to find a good bookkeeper to get organized. And I hear this a lot. They feel like it's going to cost a lot of money to have a bookkeeper. But when they have the initial consultation with me and I tell them, they're shocked and they're just like, oh, you're not going to charge me thousands of dollars each month? And I'm like, no, I'm not. If you're paying that much, I probably should review why you would be paying a bookkeeper thousands of dollars. And typically, that only happens if they're a big business. Small business owners don't need to pay thousands of dollars to have a bookkeeper. Another thing that's talked about a lot is I'll hear, I paid a lot of taxes this year, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know how to read my tax return. My CPA doesn't have time to explain it to me. I need someone to help me understand why I paid a lot of taxes. And that's one of the reasons why I'm studying for my EA license, is so I can kind of be a backstop for CPAs. If they're busy or anything else, I can help clients understand what they're looking at when they're looking at their tax return. So let's see. So I want to go into next my ideal clients. So one of the businesses that I love working with actually is construction businesses or realtors that do home flips. I consider them construction as well because they usually have a crew. And what I like about it is, even though they have receipts and everything else, they're probably one of the more organized people, meaning they keep everything because they know like they need to write off a lot of stuff or they need to get reimbursed. And one of the things that I like to tell people is I will learn whatever program they are using. If they're using a software that does what's called a work in progress, they have a job, they have expenses that they send me that needs to be attached to the job, that's something I can do and that I'm very familiar with doing. Retail stores. I love retail stores because a lot of times they don't realize how much they're spending either in expenses or merchant processing fees or just how they're doing on their P&L. A lot of them don't have P&Ls, and I'm always shocked when they don't. And it's a conversation that I love to have with them. Another one is restaurants. I actually love restaurants. I'm a foodie person. So whenever I get a restaurant client, I like to try their food, number one. And number two is restaurants need a lot of help. And I would say don't be afraid to hand it out. Like if you're at a restaurant, you can just, if you kind of hear, talk about them feeling overwhelmed or they're late on payroll or something like that because they didn't have the time. They're doing it all their own. Well, they need somebody to help them manage that. And I love working with restaurant owners to help free their time up so they can actually manage the restaurant instead of trying to manage the books. Another one is e-commerce clients. We love to work with e-commerce clients because we've done it for big accounting firms, and we know how to pull Shopify reports, Amazon reports, PayPal reports, Stripe reports. And a lot of times businesses don't understand how to pull those reports and record all the fees, but we do. So it's definitely something that I like to point it out because a lot of bookkeepers don't know how to pull those reports, but we definitely do. Okay. Then I want to go into talking about power partners a little bit. So power partners for me are any CPAs, financial advisors, of course, and anybody that has to, that helps clients deal with money. Number one thing is if you're just talking with your clients and you see that their financials are kind of messy or they don't really know where things are, give them my information. You can do an introduction via email. I'm the type of person that won't pressure anybody at all, but I love to help. One of my clients I did taxes for last year actually gave my information to his sister who's starting a business in Oklahoma and just wanted to do a consult on what kind of business she could open. So I told her my first consultation is free and she was happy with that. But that's what I do is I just give them an hour of my time initially and then see if we're a good fit. Or if they just have a question, we can do it, then and there as well. So, if you know any of those people, invite them to Digital PNA too, because I'd love to connect with them. Okay, so this is the fun part that I'd like to talk about. So what can you do to help me? So I actually recently got a Google business page. So if you Google TAP Services, my company name is actually up there right now. So if you're able to, give a review because you've seen me help your clients, that's one way to give a review to me or for me and help me out. Another thing is just go to my Facebook business page. post a review. I have some followers on there. I'm trying hard to get more followers, and I'll probably start doing more videos, go live on Facebook and so forth. So if you connect with me on Facebook and you see me go live, like jump on and say hello, because I'm trying to be more available digitally. Okay, and this final thing that I want to share. So if you want an extra $75, that's going to be my referral bonus. So I'm going to actually reward you for any clients that sign up with me. And you can ask Marcel, because I had a referral bonus that went out earlier this year, and she got a bonus from me because I got one of her clients. So I am basically going to say the 75 referral bonus will be for the rest of this month and through June. So the clock is ticking. One of the things that you can do is just maybe look at your phone. If you know 10 of your clients, you can just send a simple text and just say, hey, you just want to check in or anything else. And I know a business partner of mine that's looking for new clients, and she's a great bookkeeper. Are you in the market for someone to help you with your books? It's very simple, and it's usually non-threatening way to reach out to your current clients. But I know I kind of went fast, but that was it. That was my little kitty in the end. So any questions from anybody?
I don't know if you can hear me, Rosie. Can you? This is Brian.
Yes.
Phoebe.
Yes.
What's the future hold for TAP? Is that, do you have an exit strategy or an expansion plan, or what's the future for the business?
So the future for the business is I would like my husband to come on full time. Like, we're a team. We're both accountants, right?
Okay.
And we are so close to the business being self-supporting, full-time income for both of us. So that's essentially like our, expansion plan. If we can just get one big client, or, 3 or 4 small clients, my business basically will support the mortgage and our food and everything else. So we're very close and excited at the same time, because my husband then can leave the corporate world, and that corporation actually is going downhill very quick. So he actually might lose his job in a couple months, because they haven't done a good job at managing clientele, unfortunately. But that's where I come in. I manage my clientele very well. So
Whenever I hear about businesses, that's one of the early questions I ask, and like Karen does as well, that doing business valuations is something we recommend you do, not when you're ready to sell, but anytime. And kind of an example I ask people is, hey, somebody's going to offer you $1 million for your business. Would you be flattered or insulted? Well, what do you mean, Brian? Well, what is your business worth? What's something reasonable? And people who do things like business valuations typically have help you structure it in ways that it's maybe make it more valuable in the future, even if that's 5 years or sometimes. So, and it has to do with the stuff you already do, the nature of bookkeeping. But anybody, a lot of people are just getting by and paying their bills with their business. But when they plan right, hopefully there's something to some financial legacy, something that you can, a transaction in the future, retire and float. So well done. I like it.
thank you.
Excellent. What does TAP stand for again?
Taxes, accounting, and payroll.
Excellent. So good. Great job today. Any other
Thank
questions for Rosie before we go to the speech breakout?
I have a few comments, if I may. First of all, I Googled you, and I don't see a Google page for you,
Okay,
Rosie.
I'll talk to the guy that helps me with it. Let's see what's going on.
Okay, I would be happy. I don't really know you. I know we've met once or twice before, just briefly, but I would be happy to write a recommendation for 2 reasons. One, you and your husband have an accounting degree, and that is huge in the bookkeeping realm, because with that degree, you do have a much broader and deeper knowledge around the finances and the money and what the numbers mean. So that's something a lot of bookkeepers do not have. And then secondly, that you understand the financials and specifically the balance sheet. The balance sheet is something that a lot of bookkeepers are completely ignoring. And a lot of bookkeepers don't even know how to read the balance sheet. So that's huge that you can do that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I actually tried to work with another bookkeeper before, and she referred a tax client to me. I had to turn her down because the balance sheet wasn't up to date. I was just like, his windows weren't there. He was a retail store, and I'm like, where's all his assets?
Hey, I have another question for you. So I always tell my clients, like, I think you should get your profit and loss at least by the 15th of the next month and the balance sheet. Do you agree with that? Can it be 30 days or 45 days? Should it be 10 days? Like, when should people get that?
So this is the pipeline that I usually do for bigger businesses, I call it. So by the 5th, I like to record all their sales revenue. By the 10th, I do what's called like a soft close, meaning that that's when usually I send out questions. If there's a big expense, or let's just say they went to Costco, and I'm like, is it computers? Do we need to, is it an asset or is it food? And then by the 15th, that's when I deliver the financials. So that's usually my process of how I like to work things, because then it keeps me accountable. And that's how most accounting firms actually work, is the 5th, the 10th, and the 15th. We always have those deadlines for our clients.
Excellent. Thank you. So let's jump into the speech breakout. Let's see. Can you guys see my screen okay? Yeah, it worked. Let's see. So we do this a little bit differently at PNA, but we really want to talk about Rosie's presentation now. We're going to dive a little bit deeper. And this is hard because Rosie gets to kind of mute out and just listen and just see how well she did. And everyone else gets to chime in. Feel free to come off mute, kind of popcorn out answers. You don't have to be very formal about it. But what is her target market? Who are the people or businesses that need her services?
It sounds to me like businesses that may be struggling to do it themselves, and so they need that extra help to kind of go through their stuff with them. Small businesses, probably one owner, not many employees, things like that.
Restaurants, people with really good food.
And I heard the construction industry or realtors, people who have an interest in building, and there's some contractors involved with that. So that's good times and bad. That's always happening.
Probably a business that's trying to go up to the next step, move from that single owner to multiple employees and the like.
Yeah.
A business that hasn't reviewed their financials, and they don't know how to review them or what they mean. I hear a lot of people say, I don't understand numbers. I don't understand my books, people like that. Or people who are using CPAs to do their bookkeeping. That's not a good use of their money.
Yeah. How about key conversations? If you guys go to a barbecue later, or you're out on a hike with a friend, or you're at the gas station and someone's, saying something, what might be like, oh, you got to meet Rosie. Like, what would you hear them complaining about, or what might trigger an introduction when you're out networking?
Well, someone who's just filed their taxes, whatever commentary they might have.
That's what I was going to say.
Probably about worth saying. Any experience they've had regarding their tax preparer. Yeah. Probably a good person to get some of Rosie's perspective.
How about this one? I don't have QuickBooks. I use a spreadsheet. I hear that. I have sent so many people to Miss Rosie.
Yeah.
Well, and what you guys were talking about earlier, if somebody says, I don't know what a P&L is. I don't know what a balance sheet is. It's like, yeah, you need to be talking to a bookkeeper.
Yeah. And I'd like to tell people, can I just chime in really quick?
Yeah, of
With,
course.
you know, um, as kind of Catherine was pointing out, I like to put myself different from a bookkeeper. That's why I call myself an accountant, because I have an accounting degree. And it it really pays off when you tell them that she's just not a normal bookkeeper. You know, she actually has an accounting degree and she's studying to get her EA license. Because then their eyes are like, oh, okay, she's above average. You know, she's not the
Right.
average bookkeeper. So,
Or the
and
bean
they,
counter.
yeah, yeah. So that's the big thing. It's like, you know, putting myself kind of like in the light of like the cream of the crop, I like to say.
Yeah, love that. Well, great job today. Okay, so the next category is beneficial syndications, and this is different than our other speech breakouts, Erin. So I know you've seen the other ones, and this is talking about where online or offline is there a big sponsorship event coming up? Is there a Facebook group with, I don't know, bad business owners or maybe badass business owners? Like, is there a new community that we could introduce to Rosie? So when she does have interviews, we could drop them there and encourage people to check out her awesomeness. Any ideas on that? Where could we be sharing, like, even this video once it's online? Where could we be sharing this video to help her out? Maybe LinkedIn? What do you guys think?
I think back to that construction, a lot of those people are really trying to get their bread. Maybe they're landscapers, or they do hardscape, or they're, remodelers or something like that. I see a lot of that kind of stuff in social media. So their books is not top of mind, but making money sure enough is. And I think that might be an attractive, oh, by the way, for all of you guys trying to make a living in the remodeling business. Invariably, either they don't have a bookkeeper or they should, and be worth just making them aware. Here's somebody with an accounting degree, and she's kind of a twofer. She and her husband,
Yep.
have both have accounting degrees, so she's got some chops and some depth. So things like that. Whereas I don't know, Rosie, if I don't know if there's like a bookkeeping consortium on social media, which sounds, and I used to be a bookkeeper like a long time ago as a kid in Hawaii, but that's the whole term. Oh, that doesn't scream excitement right away, but people who would like to have their books naked tight. So some of those industries you serve, I think there's certainly social media there, realtors and remodelers and the like.
So I'm in part of like contractor groups.
Yeah.
So I can put you in those groups.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, Erin, you missed it last session. I was trying to map out a digital sphere of influence for all of our communities. And there's so many, there's dozens of communities that we could all be connected in. And I encourage you guys, if you don't already have an appointment with yourself, to visit these groups on a weekly basis. Like, make that a priority. Don't just scroll your feed and see cute cats and Easter pictures, but like, let's go find each other business, Okay, other categories. We obviously have a strong financial team here, so I'm going to suggest maybe who in the health or in the legal or the home services. What are some other categories that would be really beneficial for Rosie, and or maybe just more financial people? The more the merrier, right?
Business coaches.
Business
Definitely.
coaches. Yes, that's why I invited Catherine today.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
There's Marcel, I might have mentioned this to you when it was some years ago when I was interviewing a bunch of BNI groups, but I remember noticing among the best referral people were landscapers, because they know so many people and their clients all have enough scratch to pay somebody to mow their lawn.
Yeah.
So that's an example. Right? That already implies that they got a little bit of room. And also window cleaners. Those are two businesses I used to see repeatedly in various BNI groups that, man, I want one of those guys, because they're out all the time. They do quick work, and when they do good work, people love it. So that's another counterintuitive connection that'd be great to have in this group.
Yeah.
Or a handyman.
Yeah. Same idea. Yeah. Or a locksmith. If only we could find a locksmith. Anybody know a locksmith?
If only. If
Well,
only.
I'm pretty sure Aaron can double as
Oh,
a
yeah,
handyman. I'd love to get him in this group too. Okay, so I'm going to move forward. I'm going to check to see if this advances the slide or not. Oh, it is. Great. Referrals and testimonials. So thank you, Rosie. Great presentation. Thanks everybody for helping out with her debrief. It's always nice to really dive deeper to think about it. And I would encourage you guys, open up your phone today, scroll through, text 10 business friends. Hey, do you love your bookkeeper? If not, I know a gal. She really wants to retire her husband, who we are so close to guys. We're one big client away from getting him to walk away. So like, who do you know? This is important. Let's make them happy too. Happiness happens here because of digital PNA. Okay, with that, feel free to pop off mute if you have a referral or testimonial. And again, I encourage everybody, say something. Even hey, if it's I like your hair, so and so, right? Stage time is well time. The person with the mic's making the money, and so I encourage you think of something nice to say about somebody. And I'm going to start us off. Emma is helping me. I'm still not sure which thing I'm going to pick, but I'm going to pick one of them. She's been answering all my stupid questions all week, trying to get business insurance at my new office space and maybe cybersecurity insurance, which just sounds so sexy. Like very excited about that. But soon we will have closed business. It's definitely a referral in progress. And I'm so grateful today that Catherine and Aaron showed up. So happy to have you guys here. And then Karen, I need to loop back. I still haven't gotten the darn check from my sister. It's like, it's almost here. So anyways, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm just waiting impatiently on this side. Okay, anyone else got something to share?
I'll chime in. I had a wonderful one-on-one with Karen. In fact, Karen, I'd like to meet monthly with you if we could, just because you're awesome to chat with. But it was great because we talked about some potential getting together and doing some things for both our businesses within Karen's senior community that she lives in there. So we think that will be very beneficial to us both. And that was really awesome. So very excited about that. And then also to Marcel with working with me and both of us kind of learning together as we go through this, because it is still kind of new for me too. And understanding the differences of like what is what and the insurance world of things. So it's nice seeing it from another person's perspective that's like doesn't know, to help me understand what you need to know too. So it's good. I love it. And
I just want to say Emma is like super tall and she drives a Dodge Ram. You would never guess.
Those are two very helpful nuggets right there. So
they
are
are
not evident on.
When she showed up, I'm like, wow, you're like tall.
Yes, I'm almost 6 foot, and yeah, so I'm pretty tall.
That's so cool. Yay for tall women.
I actually have a testimonial for Miss Marcel. So if anybody knew me 10 years ago, has it been 10 years? And more than that, it's been a while. But when I first started, I was this shy little mouse in the corner, right? That wouldn't go to a random stranger. And I was like shaking in my boots when presenting.
Oh.
Yeah. Now I'm the girl that sits in the coffee shop and then my ears perk. I listen to everyone around me and I'm like, oh, that guy is a new business owner. And they're talking. I literally just went up and introduced myself, shook my hand and said, hey, I'm a bookkeeper. I hear that someone's starting a business. I just want to give you my information if you need help. Yeah. And it's through all the techniques of Laugh Tech. You know, it's through just the encouragement that I got and telling, you know, just saying that you can do it. I loved having the cheerleaders of you can do it. And also Marcel helped me plan out some packages that I hopefully will get Brian to produce on my website. And she came up with nifty ideas. That's why I love Marcel. It's like her brain is awesome where it comes to like creativity. So I'm the bean counter and she's my creative background. So thank you, Marcel.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And I want all the bookkeepers to become famous because half the world is so stuck. And you guys are like the genius ones that can help them. So thank you for listening. All right. Any other referrals or testimonials?
Well, I've had delightful conversations with Rosie and Karen and haven't gotten through the whole list yet. So Emma, you're on the list, and we're going to work our way around the whole and then start spiderwebbing everybody together here. So this is my second. Anyway, I still feel like a new kid here. So
Well,
we're going to work our way around. So
yeah. Hey, and I forgot to mention, oh my goodness, why am I spacing all of a sudden? Rob Bingham's assistant, Christina, she's normally in this meeting. She's homesick today. She's not feeling very well. So send her your love, send her a note later. But Aaron, just so you know, I know he's kind of been a power partner or referral person for you. So normally in this community, Christina's here and she's his right-hand man in terms of like booking appointments and I don't know, chasing down deals and stuff. So she's normally here. And then Brian Trendler, he's not able to make it. Not quite sure why, but I'm sure he's laughing and sad and we'll watch the replay and share it for Rosie because he loves this group, but normally he's here. And then Mike had something come up. So normally Mike's here. He runs the Puget Sound Business Journal. He's one of their lead sales team members. So anyways, we're happy you're here. And I encourage you, if you want to get more referrals, have more one-to-ones. You can have them at a coffee shop. You can have them on a walk with the dog or whatever, or go live on Instagram, go live on Facebook, go live on YouTube, right? It doesn't have to be a private meeting for this group in particular. Let those, I mean, there's no reason anybody here couldn't become the Dave Ramsey or the Warren Buffett. That might be tough, but maybe the Susie Orman and Napoleon Hill, right? Like you each have specialties where you could become the go-to person in your industry. But if people don't know that you exist, it's hard. And so I want to encourage you, start doing some one-to-ones, plan out some cool success stories that you can share to the group or whoever your audience is, even if it's an audience of 80. You know, that's still a lot of people. I know Rosie did her reel, was it 2 months ago? And you got a client right off a reel. And you don't need millions of followers sometimes. So if you guys are having important conversations, why not broadcast it? So that's my encouragement to you. Let's look forward a little bit. So typically the PNA, digital PNA, we have 20-minute presentations. So a little bit different than our other community, which is normally 8 minutes, which is totally not enough time to highlight your company. Brian Vaughn, you're up next, and then Karen. So you guys have the choice. Back to my theme, would you rather? Do you want to go back to Zoom and keep it offline? Do you want to do the YouTube presentation like Rosie did today? Or would you like to plan a panel? Because, well, I'm still working on these little buttons here of how to move them around. But say, Karen, you're like, I want to interview 3 of my clients. Oh, I kind of like this one. Say you want to do a panel. I could turn off the members and you could have 1, 2, or 3 people be part of your presentation. So we haven't had anybody do that yet. Well, Christina did bring Rob on for a while, but know that sometimes it's just more dynamic if you have a guest, right? Sure, you can talk on and on about all the great things that are important. And so Brian, Karen, Emma, Christina, Mike, or Marcel, we're all on deck. Be thinking about if you were to invite two guests to be a panel, and we could plan some questions and make it more of a dynamic presentation. And so I will reach out to both of you in the next week or two to remind you of your date, June 4th and June 18th, and just to clarify the style that you would prefer.
Okay.
Then get back to this guy. There we go. Okay, so are you guys having fun yet?
Yep.
Aaron, Catherine, are you enjoying the dynamicness of it? It's a little bit more exciting than Zoom, I think. Well, and we do have a slide here. So if you guys were to actually events and events first. So does anybody else have an event that they want to share? Be thinking of events. I was just talking to a life coach client yesterday that events drive engagement. So whether you do weekly, monthly, or quarterly events, if you can start hosting events, you will build more engagement within your social media, your community, more people know who you are and what you're all about. But we do have on June 6th coming up Laugh Tech and Comedy. What am I saying? Laugh Tech Comedy in Woodinville. I'm getting tongue-tied. So that's coming up. Please tell your friends. And then also Brian is hosting with First Citizens Bank at NPO Connect. If you service nonprofits or you have clients who want to start a nonprofit, this is kind of like a resource fair. So there's the link. You can check that out online. It's if you go onto our Laugh Tech events tab, it's going to be on there. But please tell your friends, tell your neighbors, come out, check it out. I'm going to have a booth there because I would love to help some of these great nonprofits do better with marketing and storytelling, because a lot of them could help thousands of people and they're only helping hundreds of people, and we should close that gap. And also just a reminder, if you ever have an event and you want it to be featured here, just get it to me at least 24 hours ahead of time, and I'm happy to put it on the slide so we can talk about your event.
Okay.
I'm going to skip that slide for a minute. So here at Digital PNA, it's not a closed category because right now we're Washington. We're also some in Phoenix. So it's not like North Creek or Bothell or Linwood where it's just one person per category. The fact that we don't have a real estate agent blows my mind right now. No mortgage person. We don't have a health coach. We don't have a life coach. We don't have a business coach. We don't have a cybersecurity person. I don't know. We don't have a crypto expert. Actually, Karen's kind of got that. She's got crypto skills. But these are some categories on the screen here of other people that we've noticed that we want. A trademark attorney, a virtual assistant, business law, digital artist, a photographer. If you know anybody in these categories, take a moment to look it over and you want to invite them out. Our next presentation, what did I just say, June 6th? June 4th is going to be our next one. And we got time. We got time to invite people who would be interested in this. So, and then in terms of pricing, it's a little bit different than our normal PNA prices. It is $600 for the year with a $75 registration fee. So people are welcome to come once or twice as a guest, and then eventually Brian Trendler will shake them down, get them approved, and get them in as an official member. And then also, who likes to make money?
Yeah.
I think PNA is $700 in the last year or so. But we have a referral program. So if you do bring a friend, client, spouse, daughter-in-law, neighbor, somebody in one of these categories, and if they join and they get approved, we would all have a stronger referral force, but Brian will write them a check from PNA saying thank you, thank you, thank you. That's very rare. Not a lot of referral groups do that, but we do here. And we also want them to be great people. So know that, your introductions would be appreciated. Let's see, any questions about digital PNA, about getting on to podcasts, any of that fun digital type of thinking? Let's see, oops, sorry, Rosie. Like, what's happening? A lot of buttons I can click. I'm still learning which one,
I was going to say that I think I might have a virtual assistant new business.
Okay.
He's a client of mine that I got from the my Thursday group.
Okay.
At PNA, and he's literally starting his company in a couple of weeks, and it's all on being a virtual assistant for small businesses. So I already told him about it, so he's interested. He's just waiting to leave his corporate world so that he can, focus full time on this. So
I need his name and number because there is a lot of women that want virtual assistants that I am in other networking groups.
Okay, yeah, I'll do a soft intro. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Great. Look at that. See, we're already making some business happen.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody have a podcast they're getting prepared for, or a podcast they're dying to get on?
I've done podcasts in the past. It'd be cool to do another one.
Yeah. Well, I encourage you guys, be listening out there for opportunities and stages where they're looking for guests. They're looking for guest speakers. So if you don't yet have your speaker sheet all dialed in, that's something I can help you with at Dreamosity in terms of having something to market to get yourself on more stages. But that is something that if you guys are looking for more business and to get your message in front of new audiences, let's get you out there on that public speaking circuit. Podcasts are great. You can also just go live on Instagram and interview somebody, right? You don't need a full show to leverage technology these days.
I'm curious who here listens to podcasts, and what is an example of a podcast that you like or recommend? That's maybe unrelated to all of us, but who has? It's because it's kind of new to me to consume that. I don't typically sit and listen, but anybody?
I have a list. Karen, do you
Yeah.
want to take a stab at it? Or Rosie?
I'm not a
Well,
big podcast listener.
well, I actually I host a podcast for my other
Okay.
group, but I have when I do listen to the one that I've talked about before is that if you listen to Howard Stern, you know that anything could happen. It could be way out of bounds. It's not going to be buttoned up, and one thing, it's not going to be as boring. And I think that's the worst thing. Any kind of presentation can be as boring. Part of the reason I jump around so much because people are, man, you got to look out. Beebe's going to knock something over. But Howard Stern also is a genuinely curious. He's curious about the person he's talking to, and in spite of things, you know that there's no language limitations or anything. When I hear people who are really great at asking questions and drawing out some aspect of their guest that you don't expect, I really enjoy that. And that's people like, Karen and Emmett and I are in the business of kind of interviewing people and drawing out things so we can help them make good decisions. When we hear an entertaining, engaging way to do that, I'd like to know, who do you know that's good at that and effective at that, besides Howard Stern?
Well, and I'm going to drop in the link there, Brian or BV. This might be a good link for you. Every blogger at one point has what's called a press room. It's different than a media kit, but those are some of the podcasts and stages I've been on. Been on the New York Times, the eWomen podcast, the Money Hour with Tina Mitchell, the Healing Power of Humor. I talked about that a while ago. But this is a public page that anybody can look at and review. But if somebody was like, okay, what would I ask Marcel about? You can kind of tee people up and say, here's what she wants to talk about. Now they can obviously go a different angle about it or talk about, there's a lot of ways to get into a podcast. But this is something, if you are working at getting podcasts, having a press room, again, a little bit different than a speaker sheet, but it shows where you've been. And the more notable the media placements you've been on, the more likely you're going to get a bigger one. Or, sometimes you got to start small, but you can work your way up. And so know that, look for this little button on people's sites called a press room. You probably don't notice it, but it's on some of the sites you go to. But you can go and see, well, who does this person want to be interviewed about, or what is their shtick, or their track record. It's also a great way for people, like I could tell somebody if they were interviewing me, go check out, the recent 4 podcasts that are up there. Or there's my headshots, right? So getting a headshot, easy for the VA, the social media gal, or the PR person to put that in there so they have the content. It's going to be really helpful. So notice those press rooms. And if you guys don't have one yet, I highly recommend you do it. I think Karen and I were in a workshop years ago on how to do that with Lynette. She used to be in digital PNA. I miss her. I need to call her. Anyways, there's a lot. And then BV, I've got a list of dozens. There's some really good ones on humor and how to be engaging, how to be more curious, how to be, like a comedian, but not just dirty and,
Yeah.
actually be effective. And how do you channel that inner curiosity? So there are ways out there. And I think part of it's just being genuinely curious. And that's
yeah.
And how did you get there? And what were you thinking when you made that choice? And what would you do differently? Right? We all have amazing stories. I mean, everybody here would make for a great guest on your show or any show because you've got wisdom, you've got lessons, you've got inspiration and a vision for your company. That's, sometimes people just need to hear people talk about it sometimes. So
those when you had that question, what's something people don't know about you? And I like those kinds of things. And a weird question I ask people when I'm first meeting, and in fact, I have a little short video about it, is, I ask people, what kind of car do you drive?
Yeah.
Because, when are you going to talk about the portfolio, Brian? Wait. We'll get there. So, you drive a piece of shit Volkswagen with the wheels don't match? Oh, it tells me something. So anyway, the ways we can learn about people, sometimes by asking counterintuitive questions.
I spoiled it for Emma.
Yeah. Is there a story there, Emma? Well, you got to dodge.
Well, I did buy a cab truck before.
Her.
I was trying to go with the older one to avoid all the modern day marvels and trucks that seem to cost more to fix. So, but and it ended up being a beater. So I did have to go modern. Not that I wanted to, but it runs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and anytime you lead a podcast, you can kind of come up with your own swivel questions, right? Those questions like what type of car do you have, or
Mhm.
like some people will say like tacos or cheeseburgers, like they'll just give you this or that. And in different niches, they go very specific into, whether it's hormones or money or cars or travel. Like I was on a travel podcast a while ago, and she's like, if you go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And then you want to go listen to all the other podcasts and see what your friend said, because you may not know. Anyway, it's kind of neat.
I like to, when we end, I often say, all right, what's the one thing what's the one thing you want people to remember about you after this? We talk for about 10 or 20 minutes typically. And I don't always give them that advance notice. Sometimes I want to, what's right off the cuff? And I say, you can change your mind later, but right now, what's the one thing you want people to remember about you? And whatever that is can be kind of revealing. So, and by the way, this is a book that's worth reading.
We should do a PNA blog on like top recommended books.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have that be our curveball question next time. Awesome, guys. So we're done a little bit early. We're welcome to stay here and network and chat and schedule some one-to-ones. I'm going to end the stream officially. So thank you for being here. Wonderful to see you.